10 years ago, we lived through some of the most intense paranormal activity imaginable. That led us to research haunted locations to capture evidence proving the existence of supernatural beings.
Okay, can you... Oh, both classes, you're gonna leave tonight.
And help our families being tormented as we
once
were.
those kids alone, too.
And what we discovered is that the South Coast is wickedly haunted.
That was incredible. That's what I'm talking about. That's proof.
Welcome to Wickedly Haunted on New Bedford Guide. It's Friday night. I'm Todd.
And I'm Marissa.
And we are back with another part of our series on the Bridgewater Triangle, a place where everywhere we have investigated has been wickedly haunted for sure. Tonight's episode is on a place that, to be honest with you, we didn't know a ton about before we went there. We had seen it on one paranormal show years ago, and that's the only reason why I even knew to look it up. And boy, were we surprised when we got there. It was so active that we actually ended up using it as the location for our episode of My Extraordinary Family on the Truly Network. It's actually on YouTube right now. It's a quick, less than 10-minute documentary on our family. Now, just to correct a couple things, because New Bedford Guide did put a link to it last week, and there was a lot of misunderstanding and negative comments regarding our family, particularly from people who don't know us, okay? Julia does not go ghost hunting with us. Let's just put it out there. The show spun things kind of that way, and we let them do it because any exposure is better than no exposure, for lack of a better term. But we were there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for the documentary. We live in a haunted house. We're in a haunted house right now. Julia was born in a different haunted house. Her parents are paranormal investigators. We do not lie to our daughter. We know ghosts are real. We've experienced spirits, ghosts, demons, call them what you want, all of the above. I'm not going to lie to my daughter, especially when we're all sitting on the couch and we all see the same manifestation go through the hallway. I'm not going to tell her that she was imagining things. Okay, that's not cool. That's not right. But as far as taking our daughter out at midnight to insane asylums, tripping around graveyards, or any other place like that, it does not happen. Okay, we're good people. Okay, I coach my daughter's soccer teams, softball teams. Marissa's the assistant coach on all those teams. We do everything in the world for our daughter. We just put her into private school. We do everything we can for our daughter, but we do not take her ghost hunting at night. So if you do watch the documentary, please do not send us nasty messages. We try to live a positive life. We try, something just banged over there in the corner. We try to live the way God intended us to live, but we don't lie to our daughter. We don't. So if that offends you, I'm sorry, but just ask yourself a question. Do you tell your children that Santa Claus exists, the Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny, all things that in reality, we know what they are, okay? She's in the other room, so I'm not really going to get into that. But I know ghosts exist. I know demons exist. I know spirits exist. I know that human spirits are stuck here. I know all that stuff. So I'm not going to lie to her about that. But the documentary did come out really well. We did use the Oliver House for the location. The activity was actually crazier the second time we went during the day, believe it or not. And there is a spirit of a little girl stuck there, which is why we used it as the location, because we wanted Julia to interact with her and give her, she gave her a stuffed animal and sat on the floor and played with her with a little electronic horse. It was actually really awesome to see. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. So before we go any further, let's run a quick intro clip so you can get caught up on what the Oliver House actually is. It is in Middleboro, Massachusetts. And the intro you're about to see will kind of give you the basics on the rest of the location, the haunting, and the history. Right off of 495 and Route 44 in Middleboro, Massachusetts, sits the 55-acre Oliver Estate. Built by Dr. Peter Oliver in 1769 on land once settled by tribes of Wampanoag Native Americans. These tribes were decimated by plagues brought over by the first colonists. The negativity surrounding this property would continue, as less than a decade after moving in, the Olivers were driven from this home by the Sons of Liberty, for this family was known to be staunch British loyalists. Owned by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts after the Revolutionary War, many prominent families occupied the mansion, many of its members dying within its walls. No family had a sadder existence here than the Sprouts. Occupying the state for 2 decades in the mid-19th century, they lost 3 children here, including little Abby, who died after being scalded by a boiling kettle of tea water. At one point, the property was even part of the Underground Railroad. Any one or all of these things can be a cause for paranormal activity. And in the end, we will never know exactly what the cause is. But one thing is for sure, this property is definitely wickedly haunted. And that is absolutely for sure. The property is wickedly haunted. Now, in that last picture, I know it's not super easy to see. It's easy to see when it's still. Next to that chair, you can see an absolute outline, not just of a girl or a young woman, but you can see her dressed with a bow with the ties and the big bow in the middle of it. If you were to stop and rewind it and pause it at that point, you can see her long hair. Her face is kind of there, but the dress with the bow is definitely there, and it's an absolute crazy picture. There was manifestations of all sorts all over that place. The activity wasted no time in getting started, no time at all, as you're about to see in the first video of our investigation there. But before we get started, let's just mention real quick that you are welcome to comment. If you're watching the video, if you have a question or a comment, please put it in there. After the video, we just do a quick analysis and then be happy to answer any questions or comments. Now, it doesn't even have to pertain to the video. If you just want to know something about paranormal investigation in general, some of our adventures out there, ghost hunting, if you have questions about the afterlife that we may have gleaned over the last 10 years of research and investigation, we're happy to answer any questions at all. And the other thing is, if you are experiencing any sort of strange activity in your home, you're not sure what it is, or you know it's paranormal activity, or you know you're just straight being haunted or tormented, we're here to help, okay? If it's your first time viewing the show, Marissa and I suffered through a pretty bad haunting 10 years ago. We didn't even believe in ghosts at the time when we moved into that residence. And we certainly were true believers by the time we left. We spent about 3, maybe 4 years there. Julia was born there. Everything under the sun happened there. And we didn't know where to go to get help, which is why we started researching and investigating this ourselves. We didn't think, Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures or Jason and Grant from Ghost Hunters were going to come save us. Okay. So, Marissa, tell them what you told me the other day about it.
Oh, just that you're not putting us out at all.
Really, you're not.
We enjoy doing this. Obviously, we enjoy it, but we want to help people. We don't charge anything, so it's not going to cost you anything. It doesn't, it doesn't bother us at all. We want to come out. We want to help. Just don't be afraid to call us.
And if you're concerned that you don't want your friends, family, neighbors seeing it, we can certainly keep you anonymous off camera. We don't tell people the location, nothing like that. Other families that we have helped have appeared on the show, and really you're doing a service to other people that are kind of suffering in silence, maybe wondering if they're crazy, because that's what we felt at first. You're not, okay? These things exist, they are real, and we're happy to help find out what's there, who's there, what they want, how to deal with it. We can certainly try to cleanse the property and get rid of them if that's what you want us to do.
If we had somebody that we could have called just for validation, just to put my mind at ease at the time, that would have been great. We have a lot,
especially in the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of equipment. There's a lot of expensive equipment, but you don't need to go out and buy it. We'll bring all of our equipment to your house. We'll show you. If there's something there, you'll be able to see it with your own eyes, and we'll be able to validate it, whether there's something there or not.
Just remember, we're kind of like doctors, where we can come in and do an investigation and give you our opinion by the time we leave, but the evidence review is kind of like the test the doctor takes. And until we run all the tests, review all the evidence, we can't give you an exact answer. That does take a week or two to do that.
Right.
We try to go as fast as possible. Can I give you my opinion? Sure. Just like a doctor will tell you, I think it's this. Yeah. But until I get the test back, I won't know for sure. Okay. Now, if you want to reach out to us, if you have a question about the paranormal, please comment on the show tonight. We will get to you as fast as possible. And if you need help, please, again, you're not putting us out. Go to relativelyparanormal.com. It's our website. There's a booking form at the end. There's also links to our YouTube site, which now has over 60 videos. We have a TikTok page now with quick evidence clips. It's called Relatively Paranormal. We have a Facebook group that's public where we discuss paranormal topics, put up a lot of crazy pictures and videos. It's called Relatively Paranormal. Pretty much just remember Relatively Paranormal for YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all that stuff. And our website, I have video players that link to almost all of it, including past episodes of Wickedly Haunted, which are also on New Bedford Guide. Mike, the owner of New Bedford Guide, did an awesome playlist on us for there. So if you want to go binge watch, go to New Bedford Guide, hit playlists, Wickedly Haunted. You can watch to your heart's content. We've done many episodes over the past year now. And if you want a quicker way to reach us and you don't want to watch videos, you can just go to relativelyparanormal@gmail.com and reach out to us. And we will call you right back. And we're happy to help out anyone who needs help. That's what we're here for. It's one of the main reasons we do this show, to educate people about the paranormal and to give help. Now, without further ado, let's go on to our first Oliver House investigation video. And if you're watching it, please put in a comment or a question. We'll be happy to get to it. Hi. Look, 22.
Whoa,
30.
that's spiking up to 124, 139. Holy crap.
Hi. Look, the static meter's going off. The static meter only detects static electricity. There's no static over there. Hi, can you back away for a second? Just to show that it's you. Please, who's ever making those 2 meters go off, can you just back away? Go ahead, back away. I have presents for you. If you back away, I'll give it to you. 49.60. There's something over here that would turn on. But how would it turn on the static meter?
Did you see that?
No, reset it. Reset the static meter. Hello, hi. Can you back away for a second? Reset the static meter, that went off, but this is 43? Is there something? 180?
Your pump is not on, is it?
No! It's over there, it's not on. Look, back down to 04. No, the pump's not on, no. You didn't turn the pump on, did you?
No.
It's over there. It only has a range of like a foot. Anyway, and you'd hear it vibrating on this if it was on this. Look at that. Go ahead. Can you just back away just so I know it's you? Thank you. Double zeros. Can you make it go off again? Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. What I was about to say is we're trying to show everybody in the world that you exist because half people don't. Thank you. Thank you. Did you live in this house? Great. Thank you. Go ahead. Back away for a second. Can you touch that other box over here again and make that go off again? That was awesome.
Brandon, Marissa, and I were super excited that things had gotten off to this fast a start at the Oliver House. Now, check out some other manifestations that occurred that we hadn't even realized happened until we got into the evidence review. So sit back and enjoy some freaky stuff that happened while we finished setting up.
Oh, yeah.
No, I want to speak to them. I want their story.
Yeah. I love talking to them.
I brought something that you can talk through too, another invention I made that you're going to enjoy talking through. Oh, is that the last thing?
Oh, what is it?
Oh, look, it's all excited about that. Look.
It says color. What is this?
Are you excited about that? That is not on. Okay. Okay, there's There. Okay. Inches? Full as inches.
Hey, Todd,
What up?
smell the flowers over there.
Did you?
That was crazy, like she said.
Anthem smells.
That shit's,
Well,
I don't know, it was like
that's
a
awesome.
whip.
That's what you want, bro. Right, let me get these cameras
I'm gonna put your drink on the window
This
sill,
one is
Todd.
not going. Right
This is
now.
your drink.
This is the one with the
Oh.
flare.
This is old.
That's on, that's on, that's on. Flare's not on yet. Alright, so we'll start off with the flare, right? Oh, let's get the camera set up. So we got.
I'm good.
Is it a camera?
Alright, can somebody just come look at this, make sure that I
Oh, that's
got my head?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it said.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna do
Okay.
this
You
right.
gonna watch the camera for me?
Put it in the bed.
Look, it went off! Thank you! Thank you. Are the boxes on?
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, let's turn those on.
I heard something over there too.
Okay, I'm gonna turn on some energy for you. I'd like to do it on camera. There it is. Should I put some energy down in the other room? Alright, can you see if my head's in there?
Yep.
You see my head?
If you go to the left more, you're more centered. Right where she's at is centered. Oh, plenty of space.
Okay.
You can jump up. and-
Justin.
Alright, I'm calling any spirits. Yes, thank you. It's beeping already. Any dead people? Any folks that lived here? Any entities in the building? My name is Todd. That's my friend Brandon over there. This is my wife Marissa.
Hello.
We've come here to speak to you tonight. We've brought lots of energy for you.
Is everything in here? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's in the box. Right.
Okay. Do you see these boxes right here? You see this box with the symbol on it? It says power plant. These are energy for you guys to take as much as you want tonight to communicate with us. Okay? We want to tell your story. We want to hear what you have to say tonight. That's what we've come all this way for. Ways, yes. We kind of grew up around here. Marissa grew up in Lakeville. I grew up in Mattapoisett. Brandon, where'd you grow up?
New Bedford.
New Bedford. So the whaling city, that's where we come from now. So we want to hear your story tonight. So I hope you tell it to us. So that's not this pump right here. All right, this one's right there. All right, so I want to bring this down here and that's the cameras.
Addition.
Go ahead, put that right on. If you're in here, I've also left some energy in here for you. If you want to take it, go ahead. But please come over and talk to us after you do. But if somebody over there is being an energy hog, you know, feel free to come over here and take your own. That's what we're here for. We brought gifts for you. We know that you guys have a hard time energy-wise.
I don't
So
see
we have to go.
this shit.
Yeah, I need to make sure that these boxes are on. Of course, they're opposite, right? I don't know if you're gonna read on. That's. Wow. So I neglected to put that in. Marissa just caught it after I said you guys have a hard time energy-wise. It said true, which is kind of funny. That's the Perilous Word Bank app, which is an awesome app that we use, and basically the spirits can manipulate the application. It's got a word bank in it. They can use their energy to manipulate it and use compelling words that go along with the conversation. And a lot of times it is so on point that it's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, even better than what just happened there. You know, really good stuff. Now, the awesome thing about the Oliver House, honestly, is it's a bizarre spot because you're on 495 or 24 or 140. Take your pick. You get off on 44, which is a fairly busy road, and you take this left turn off of 44, and literally like 100 yards on the left-hand side, right across from like the KOA campground, you see a sign for the Oliver House. And when you pull into this driveway, it's like going through a time warp. I kid you not. Like you're all of a sudden in the middle of this thick, lush forest, this beautifully manicured landscape, this massive like property with this beautiful mansion on it. And the people that work there, in particular, Christy, who runs the paranormal investigations and does a lot of the fundraising for the place, I know she works really hard over there. Like, they've done everything they could with the descendants of the Oliver family to painstakingly, like, restore it back to its original luster, to the point where, like, the doors, like, they found like the original shade of green or had it like made up. And they brought in antiques from the time period and stuff and paintings from the time period to bring it as close to its original look back then as possible. Now, in our research, we've come across, in our experience as well, things like that, when you keep a location looking as it did when the spirits were alive, can almost keep them there.
Now, the front door was original. And
that was insane. I mean, it's got this massive
and the railing to go up the stairs. That was just Brandon. Hi, Brandon. I was Brandon. He said he wished he could be here.
Oh yeah, I asked Brandon to come on the show because he was there with us, and he loves that location.
His son has football.
The door was actually removed by somebody who lived there, and it ended up on some other house in Middleboro. And somehow the people gave it back to the Oliver house.
Yeah, bizarre story.
And it has this massive, like, 1700s lock on it. Like, this thing is crazy lock on it. But the whole house is like that. When you walk in there, you can smell the history if you're even familiar with that term. Like, it's really, really a powerful experience. And then to speak with the people and interact with the people that live there is really crazy stuff. One of the main entities there, that room that we were setting up, is called Abby's room, and that is the poor little 2-year-old girl that somehow grabbed her parents' boiling hot tea kettle
on top of a mantle
and scalded herself. Now, the worst part of the story is that this poor thing lived for like 3 days after that, and all the doctor could do was come and comfort her. You know, you got to think back in the actually that was 1840 something, I think she passed. You know, and it was a horrific death. 2 of her siblings also died within the house, and both of her parents eventually lived their lives out in the house. Now, I don't know if the father stays there for his children because they're stuck there or not, but we know for sure that Abby is there, as you're about to see. But in general, those locations where, like the Lizzie Borden house, they have it decorated the same. Like, they have that place like spot on. Like, if you look at, they have pictures on the wall of what the Borden house looked like the day of the murder, and they have everything almost identical. It's almost creepy.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Lizzie Borden house.
In the way that they've restored it, yes.
Exactly.
And just like the opposite end of that is if you were to purchase a property that's maybe sat for a while and you started restoring it and changing it, and there was a spirit of a former owner or resident there, that can make them flip out and attack you and go nuts on you. You know, so the same can be said for both sides of that coin. Now, the other thing that I just mentioned about the antiques, bringing in antiques from all over the place from that time period, you never know. I mean, things could be attached to those. That does exist. I don't know how, but I just know it does. And there could be spirits in there of things from all over the place. Now, the other thing that I mentioned in the intro, actually 2 other things, was one, that land was inhabited by the Wampanoag tribe of Native Americans for thousands of years, for millennia. And they were there, it's right on the Nemasket River. So it's right there where they could fish and everything. It's in a beautiful section of Middleboro. And the fact that when the colonists came here, smallpox, all sorts of strange diseases that they brought over from Europe that the Native Americans weren't used to, it just decimated them. I mean, it ripped through them. And that's why the tribe no longer lived there. They were actually excavating the site a few years ago and finding all sorts of, bodies and articles and different weird items. And, it was heavily settled. So when you have a land sale like that, hauntings are not, condemned to a home or there's 2 spirits, at least in this building. If we tore this building down tomorrow, those spirits would still be here on the land. That doesn't mean they go up to heaven or hell or wherever they're destined to go. they'll still be stuck there. And then if you built a house here, a few years later or 100 years later, whatever it is, those spirits are going to be there and they're going to move right in.
How strange is that, though, right?
It is bizarre. It is bizarre, but it's true. It's
like,
true.
what's stopping them from just taking off down the street,
Well, look at it like this. Several of these old, insane asylums, not everyone is bought and used for ghost hunting. Some of them they just tear down. And, where do those spirits go? Obviously, they're stuck to that land. So, if they turn that into a park one day and you had a picnic there, you may experience something. There's actually a place in Denver, Colorado, I believe, that was a massive cemetery. It was their first cemetery. And they wanted to build the Denver, city, park there, kind of like a Central Park type thing in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to move all the bodies. And this was back in the day when records were spotty, things were sloppily done. And they hired this crumb to do it. And this guy realized that more coffins equaled more money. He was getting $1 per coffin. Okay. So he started chopping up body pieces and putting them in these little coffins so that he could get paid more for them. So he was mixing bodies together or just handing in the empty coffins. He was doing a lot of shady stuff and he finally got caught. And then they didn't even end up moving the other half of the bodies. They just built the park there. And all sorts of weird stuff is experienced in that place.
Wow.
All sorts of weird stuff. So the paranormal, there's no way to know everything or even half of the stuff about it. It's just really strange stuff. But
actually, before we go to the next clip, that was something that we discussed, is that if anybody has any questions that they wanted to ask, the spirits.
Oh yeah. We were talking about it. We may ask a question every episode to get people involved. Why don't we try it out? Put in the comments if there was one question that, let's say you could have an actual conversation with a spirit, sit across from them. What is one question that you would like to know about either the afterlife, the existence of the ghosts, their daily life, any of that stuff? Does God exist? Whatever it is.
We usually ask spirits the same handful of questions. We have 10 questions.
Well, we have 10 questions we ask every spirit, but we ask them different things. But there is a set that we do.
Because, we're curious, does every spirit, does every ghost, experience the same thing? Do they all
What did you see when you died?
Right.
Was it miserable?
Did you see your body?
Did the light come? Why didn't you go into it?
Can you see your family? Can you visit?
How do you move about?
Yeah.
Are those orbs we see they're whipping around? Can you use mirrors as portals? The great thing about this haunted house, well, half of it, there's a human spirit here. This poor woman passed a few years ago. I don't know how the heck she knew we were here because she started interacting with us right off the bat and she died 2 floors above us. But when you go on a paranormal investigation, you will spend most of the night making contact with spirits and trying to find out who they are, what their name is, how they died, how long they've been there for, general questions like the how do you do's with a live person.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's time to go. But we've moved way past that, with Angie here. And now she gives us information that are you stuck in this building? Why can't you leave? Do you relive your death on it? All those things that you want to ask that you normally would not get to ask because you spend all night trying to figure out who's there. We get to ask these strange questions. So
we want to know. We want to get this information for ourselves. We also want to get this information for everybody. So we want to know if you had the opportunity to ask a dead person.
We may ask Angie for you and then come back and give you the answer next week.
So just give us some of the questions that you might ask a ghost.
We'll write them down and maybe we'll talk to Angie this weekend and see if we can get answers for you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, she gives us the answers. It sounds weird.
If you can think that over, but let's go to the next clip
now. Real quick, one more thing before we get to the next clip. There is a very nasty spirit here. We're not sure if it's a full-fledged demonic or just a negative human pretending to be a demonic. But 2 episodes in a row, we either had people tell us or we discovered ourselves very loud growling and grunting into our microphone. It's called an EVP, or electronic voice phenomenon, which is when we don't hear it with our own ears, which would be a disembodied voice. It's imprinted on the digital technology, and you won't discover it till later on. But because you folks are listening to it pretty much live, you're hearing it. Marissa and I aren't, but you are, because it's coming through our microphone and being imprinted on the digital technology, but you're hearing it. So if you hear a growl or a grunt, believe me, it is not ours. Dogs are not allowed in this building. There's no dogs outside. The windows are closed. We live 20 feet off the ground. We live in a brick building. Sound does not travel well into this building. If you hear growling, trust me, it's not a dog. Or if you hear a voice that's not ours or something like that, please comment and let us know. Once we compile more, we played them last week. Once we compile more, we may play them again, but it's pretty crazy stuff. But this is a real haunted house for sure. We're streaming from a haunted house. So anyway, let's roll the next clip, and again, put in those comments and we will get to them after this video. Any spirits, any dead people again? I'm Todd, this is Brandon, that's Marissa over there. We come in peace, we come with all respect. We've come here to hear your story and speak to you. So we hope that you come communicate with us. We have a lot of different things around for you to talk to us. Somebody before was using the green square box. So the static detector's on. The static detector's on.
As you were talking.
The static detector just came on. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Wow.
Static detector just came on. My phone's off, Marissa. Marissa.
Yes.
Okay. So the static detector just came on.
As soon as you pointed.
So everybody can see.
Wow.
There it is right there. Hold it up. Thank you so much. Can you back away from that now? Make it go up.
That was all. As soon as you pointed.
Yeah. So you can make that
You
go
see how they
up
blinking
too.
off and on?
Yeah. So that also gives us a sign of your presence. Okay. So the static detector.
What street is this on? Do you know what street in?
No. Come on, bro. I don't have my phone either. You can look it up. Go the other state. So
Yeah. Sure got it off.
it's right here. It only detects static electricity, so no household electronics can set it off. For myself, Brandon, and Marissa set up, we have to drag our feet across the carpet and touch the very tip of it.
And we're in
So I'm gonna go ahead and reset it again. I don't know if you can touch that again. And the palace is going crazy. You know, it's right next to you, Marissa. What's it saying?
Oh, one.
One?
It says doors.
One? Okay. So we've come here to talk to you and hear your story. You obviously know how to manipulate this. The EMF detector. We do have some video of it. It started going off immediately in the kitchen. It's been going on up here around no electronics, and I'm talking high spikes. Didn't we see like 100 and something? It was backing away, communicating with us, answering questions. We also have a picture of a pup like you already outside, which is crazy. I know it sounds silly to say that, but it's true. It looks just like a crazed like caveman out in the woods. It's pretty nutty looking.
Never seen one.
I'm sure you're looking at the picture of it right now. It's crazy. And then whatever spirits were in here kind of told us through the EMF detector that was not a nice thing out there.
It says God. I thought it said God.
Okay. Did you folks believe in God? Are you God-fearing folks?
No.
That might have been the pump.
No.
That's the pump. Okay, so we're going to keep this away from the pump. Oh, that pump's going to go in. Let's put this over here where we can kind of keep an eye on it. I don't know if that camera over there can get a shot of it. It's getting a shot of it. Oh, look. Thank you. Thank you. Look, 2.3. Can you make that go really high again? Can I put it in the chair for you?
It says monitor.
There you go. So if you want to touch that again, go ahead. That's a great way to communicate with us. Okay? We brought another really cool way. This blue stick in my hand. Okay? It's a light, and by twisting the end and making it go on and off right here, You can talk to us. Every spirit we've ever talked to has been able to do it. All you have to do is twist the end and it makes the light go on and off. And it's very easy for you to manipulate and for you to ask us yes or no questions. Okay, and what I'm going to do is put it right over here on this other chair next to the other energy box. So you can turn that on and off. So can you turn that on so that we can speak to you?
Si tu veux voir l'effet du bruit.
Go ahead, turn it on. Turn the flashlight on. All you're going to do is twist the end. It won't hurt you. And then we can ask you yes or no questions, and it's very easy for you to manipulate without burning up too much energy. Can you twist it the other way and turn it off for us? Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you're an adult, can you turn that back on for us?
Indirect.
Indirect. Are you an adult? Are you a child? If you're a child, can you turn that back on? Can you turn that back on for us? Can you let us know you're still here and turn that back on, please? Come on, you did a great job of shutting it off. All you have to do is twist it the other way. You're going to turn it the other way. Is this a static detector? Oh, this right here too. You can touch this little thing and make the fancy blue light go on by touching it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. If you're a child, can you turn it back on? Are you a child? What does it say? Uphold. Oh yeah, remember? One of the spirits here was like a judge.
Mm-hmm.
Did you uphold the law? You did. Look. Okay. Did you do that for the English government? For the king? Did you uphold the law for the king? Turn on the light if you did. How about that? No. Did you You did. Are you part of the Sprout family? Turn on the light if you're a Sprout. You are.
Got it right on camera.
Sprout. Okay. Are you Earl Sprout? Turn on the light if you're Earl Sprout. Are you Abby Sprout? Turn on the light if you're Abby Sprout. Boom. Was this your room? Can you turn on the light if this was your room, Abby? Boom. Bright, too. Bright. Real bright. Real bright. Okay, Abby, go ahead and turn it off. Abby, can you twist it the other way and turn it back off? Awesome. Thank you so much. Abby, are there other members of your family here? Can you tell me in the light if there are other members of the Sprout family here with you? Include. Can you turn the light on? Is your dad here? Is he in the house somewhere? Turn the light if your dad's here. Okay, is your mom here? Turn on the light if your mom's here.
Yeah,
Oh, your mom's here, okay.
it's the mom's name. Remember?
I don't remember her mom's name. Okay. Is your brother here? Turn the light if your brother's here too. Let me see. No, your brother's not here. But your mom's here. Okay. Hi, Mr. Sprout. How are you? It says David again.
I'm telling you.
Is there a gentleman named David here in the house? There is.
Yes.
Boom. Wow. And they don't know who he is?
She said she wanted to ask when we leave, but she said every group's been getting David. They've been getting it, and then it's some guy who looks like kids are scared of him.
Is David new to the house? Can you turn on the light if David's new to the house? Is David new here? Do you hear that noise? Over there next to you?
Mm-hmm.
Is that next to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He was in a car accident, supposedly, she said.
Did David come into the house from the outside? Turn on the light if he came into the house after he passed.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Boom.
After.
Okay. All right.
God again.
No. Gauze.
David.
If it was a car wreck, they probably helped him outside and covered him in gauze. His body trying to save him. Did David have an accident outside? Was he in a bad accident outside, Abby? Turn on the light if you had a bad accident. Dude, something just tapped the window right here. It was like a fingernail in the window. Having a bit.
I don't know.
Okay. Abby,
Hopefully it was a mosquito.
if I counted, when I got to the number of total spirits in this house, would you be able to tell me by turning on the light when I got to that number? Can you count, Abby? Or can you get your mom in here to count? Rosaline?
I mean, that's her name.
That's not, is it?
No.
Look it up. Is that your mom's name? Rosaline? Is Rosaline your mom's name? Okay. Is your mom in here? Can you turn on the light if your mom's in here? Okay. Well, I'm going to count. When I get to the number of total spirits or dead people or entities in the house, please turn the light on. 1, 2, 3. 3? Is it 3? Just to confirm, there's 3 spirits in the house? Can you turn the light on if there's 3? Is there 2?
All right. So right there is one of the simplest ways of spirit communication that you could do. You don't need $1 million to go out and do your own paranormal investigation or ghost hunting. Marissa and I started off years ago just roaming around local graveyards with maglite flashlights and a few apps we found on our phones that worked good and our cell phone cameras for the most part. And we would have great experiences. Great experiences. To this day, the flashlight still amazes me to know that something is right there a few feet away, turning it on and off in response to our questions. It's just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And there's really no way to debunk that.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to explain it. And if you don't believe it, if you think that somehow we're making that happen, please bring your own mag light. Join us on an investigation. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you. Pick the graveyard, pick the location, bring your own mag lights. No problem. Because they work everywhere. We have 3, 4 of them that we use. They kill the batteries on them a lot when they use them to communicate. If it stops working, usually we know that the battery's dead. And sometimes they'll suck down the batteries in like an hour. Even though I have the energy pumps going, for some reason, it's like they're using the extra battery juice from the flashlight to help manipulate it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because each spirit manipulates that flashlight in a different way. And what I mean by that is some will do it nice and crisp, boom, boom, boom. Some you see it like turn off real slow and then turn back on, which, by the way, is almost impossible for you to do with your own fingers. Give it a try sometime with a real mini mag light. it really, you can almost turn it on or off. I've tried to turn it that slow. It's almost impossible.
There's just no dim
Yeah,
option
you
there.
can do it a little bit, but not like that. Not like that. That's like just the lightest touch. And some stronger, some they do it real weak and take forever. I mean, every spirit's different and unique. It's another just strange thing.
It's strange because they're not doing it with their hands.
I think they're actually they are twisting the end because we put it on the edge of a table once. You have to put the end that you twist off the edge of the table so that they can twist it. And one time I put it too far. It was up on the table and they couldn't twist it. Remember?
Yeah, these spirits, they don't have bodies. So what I'm saying is they're not physically turning it. They're somehow, I don't know.
Well, we have a motion detector in our own home that we do bring on investigations, but we bring it on investigations because it's supposed to detect motion. But as a secondary effect, it turns itself on and off by itself sometimes when we have the remote in our pocket. And we're not hearing the click of the remote. The day that we filmed for the documentary for the Truly Network, the director came. He had to film My Extraordinary Family. And I said, all right, I got to be right back. I went in the bathroom to finish shaving. And all of a sudden, I heard the motion detector going berserk. He said that it had beeped, which turns it on. A green light will come on, and you have 20 seconds to get out of the area before it goes off. And it just started going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, well, I don't know if anyone told you, but this is a haunted home. He didn't know. So we get a good chuckle out of it. And all of a sudden, it turns itself back on, arms itself, and goes off before I could grab the remote. And then I turned it off, and it didn't happen again. But it's just kind of a funny thing.
And this isn't something that we were actually using for paranormal equipment. It's actually something that we are using in our home.
No, but I do bring it on investigations at large indoor locations because it's a great motion detector. But what I mean is the thing arms itself. And I've had a spirit actually here mess with me. And what I mean by that is they kept turning it on. And then when I would go to grab the remote to shut it off, they would shut it off. And then when I turn around to walk away, they would turn it back on.
This went on for
like messing with me to the point where I just got so mad that I ripped the batteries out of it. Okay. So just another strange thing. It did it at the boarding house too.
Yeah.
When Marissa was outside going to get something out of the car, she had the remote. She was in the back of the house in the parking lot. That motion detector was in the very front parlor on a coffee table without anyone near, within 30 feet of it. And it started arming itself and setting itself off, and it was crazy. It was crazy.
And it's loud too. It's
it's extremely loud, but it's just really so it works as a motion detector for sure, but it also works where almost you could communicate through it if you really wanted to. If a spirit was strong enough. And the point of bringing that up is whatever is manipulating that is using their energy, because these entities are made of electromagnetic energy. They're going into these devices like the Paralysis as well, and manipulating the device to make it work.
Right.
You'll see that in a later episode when we do the Oliver House episode where we filmed the documentary there. We also filmed for this show because the director booted it, took off after half an hour. We were there for a few hours, and Julie brought a little electronic horse. You have to press a button on the side to make it prance around and light up, and this thing just started going nuts on its own. I mean, it went bizarre.
And let me just say, because a few people have commented on that. So I was messing with it, kind of testing it out. So there are two positions on that horse.
No.
All right, well,
we didn't show it yet. So we'll get to that later on. I know we're getting into, but
okay.
Yeah, we'll
tell you about it next
she can give you the full explanation when we show it. So
about
you know what
the little pony that my daughter brings to play
somebody
with.
said it turns itself on, but it doesn't. There's a demo mode, but we didn't have it on that. It's just on. We're not. It's not. That's for the store. So
When we show you that episode, I'll bring it out and I'll demonstrate it.
All right. So why don't we get to some comments and questions, and then we'll get to the last video. All right. Brandon likes the microphone. Thank you. We didn't like the sound quality. Hi, Manny. What's up, buddy? Manny's a good friend of ours. He's been here to investigate. Manny, put in a comment. Tell him how haunted this house really is. Manny turned from a skeptic to a true believer in this home We invited him over for a couple of investigations, and he left here a true believer. And he put back in a comment and tell everyone how
And he
haunted
hasn't
this
been
house
back
is.
since. No,
No,
I'm just joking.
I've actually been to the Bridgewater Triangle years ago as a teenager. Didn't like the feeling I got while there.
Really?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different places. Kelly, I'm not sure where you went in the Triangle, if it was like the Freetown State Forest, the Hockomock Swamp, and One Rock. There's a lot of different places. It goes from Abington to Rehoboth to Freetown, right?
Mhm.
It's a huge area. Depending on where you go, is a completely different experiences. The whole Triangle has been wickedly haunted for us for sure, but each location has had a different feel to it, for sure. What point do you just run when you see a ghost? Hey, Roland, what's up? I don't. I get excited and point to it and make sure somebody's got a camera on it. Marissa caught a full body apparition at Burial Hill, and she was so excited. It's in the intro, actually. And she's like, oh my God, you're not going to believe what I'm saying. And it was right next to me. And my comment was, I hope you hit the record button on. I hope it's still recording. We're afraid of people at these places when we're out there in the middle of nowhere with just me, Marissa, or Brandon, or sometimes just me and Marissa. But the ghosts, no. We're hoping to see a ghost. We are hoping to see a ghost. We both got touched and attacked at Rolling Hills Asylum and thought it was cool.
Nancy, yeah, a lot of them are. A lot of them are in pain.
I don't know. It's not physical pain, but it's certainly emotional torment, anguish.
They still carry a lot of emotion. A lot of spirits have told us how miserable they are, and they actually use that word. Many of them have used that word, miserable.
We've never met a happy-go-lucky spirit.
Any spirit that's stuck here, so
like the term trapped certainly,
yes,
it absolutely fits their condition and their experience, and they all beg us for help. They all beg us to bring the light, and I don't know how to do it.
So I'm just gonna say just one thing that not to wish death upon anybody, but if the light comes, you go towards
Manny
it.
said, why are some demonic and others that are not? Well, we have human spirits, which are people that lived and died for whatever reason, didn't go to the light, were afraid to be judged by God, whatever you want to call it, and remained earthbound. Okay, this is almost like a purgatory for them, where they're stuck here, and there's really no way for them to get out of here unless you know how to move them along, which we do not know how to do yet. The longer they're here, the more chance that they could transcend into a darker, more negative version of themselves. It's like we said, their whole existence is torment and agony and just despondency, which they can even imprint on you, sadness, call it what you will, trapped. And that can turn negative over time. They can become more and more sour. They can lose themselves over time.
They forget who they are. They forget who they used to be.
And eventually that spirit can become almost like a lower level demonic spirit.
Right.
Now, as far as fallen angels, true demonics, we have had spirits tell us that demons were at locations. We asked what they were. They said they were true fallen angels. They had horns, goat feet. It's in a lot of our episodes on our YouTube channel. A lot of them have demon in the title because we came across demons at those places. Normally, when we get called to haunted locations to help families, it's not because they're with nice human spirits that are looking to communicate or get help. Normally, it's because they're being tormented by demonic spirits. Okay, so this is Manny talking about our house. It was no joke. When I was there, the ghost kept on tripping the motion detector. That's right, Manny was here that night.
Yes,
he was here that night. You actually felt the presence that night. I mean, Manny was here one night. He's seen SLS figures jumping around on the walls. He's seen all sorts of crazy stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
He's been behind the camera, seen crazy orbs miss, all sorts of stuff. Are you afraid to bring something home with you? What do you do to prevent it? Okay, the first thing we do is we wear blessed cross, blessed items. If you want to protect yourself, whoever your higher power is, mine is Jesus Christ. The cross has to have Jesus on it. It was blessed by a Catholic priest. Marissa wears a blessed cross. We give Brandon a blessed rosary. We pray before we go in, and before we leave, we pray and we tell them that they're not allowed to attach or follow us home. Now, unfortunately for us, we've moved into 2 homes that already had them here. They already had spirits here. And both times it seemed like there was a human spirit and a negative spirit.
Yeah. Isn't that
So-
bizarre?
It's not so much because we come across it all the time.
I know, but you know how many people actually commented a few times and said that maybe it's not the house that was haunted, but maybe it's you too.
Yeah, but it's not the same spirits,
I
and,
know,
and
yeah.
it's not the same manifestations or activity. I'm not being paralyzed in bed. I'm not.
Yeah.
We're not having electronics turn on and off by themselves, faucets, things being thrown. None of that's happening.
Yeah, and the spirit here is actually documented, so we
We're
know.
seeing strange things. We can turn on a spirit box and communicate like that. It's just it's an odd haunting, but it's not. It's benign compared to what the other one was.
Yeah,
For sure.
I agree.
But you have to protect yourself. It is no joke. These things can harm you. I got stabbed at Rolling Hills Asylum by something that I could not see like 4 or 5 times. Marissa had her pulse checked there by something because she pretended she was dead on the autopsy slab. I've been had one of the spirits here, run a finger down my back one time when Marissa and I were standing there talking on camera. Marissa's been touched in graveyards
The
before.
cemetery, they grabbed my leg. It was the strangest feeling. It felt like something took its hand out of the dirt and just grabbed onto the back of my calf. It was
And we
so
think
crazy.
Angie has a crush on Brandon. I kid you not. Brandon and his family come here quite a bit. They're part of the family, and Brandon was here one time, and he felt something caress his back. So we think Angie may have a crush on Brandon. I don't know how a ghost has a crush, but I think that is so. I think we asked her once, and she said yes.
Yeah. I can't remember how the conversation went, but we did ask her about it.
I think pretty soon we're gonna bring the spirit box out and let Angie do a live interview on Wickedly Haunted, just so all y'all think we're joking. About the fact that she'll just come on and talk. She will just come on and talk. So, maybe we'll bring her on for an interview soon. But let's roll the last video. And after the video, if you have any more questions or comments, we'll get to them before the end of the show. And we'll be back in a few. Enjoy the last clip.
What we're about to do is an EVP session. EVP stands for Electronic Voice Phenomenon. That is when voices not heard by us at the time are recorded directly onto the digital media. They are spirit voices. We ask questions, we give them time to answer, and hopefully we get responses.
Abby, I don't know where you are, but can you see the red light on this? I'm going to hold the red light out far away from my body, and any spirit, any dead person here, any entity that would like to speak to us, we're going to ask some questions, and then we're going to listen back to them after. It's called a recording. Okay? So, I'm going to ask the first question, then we'll go to Marissa, then Brandon, okay? What is your name?
Was this your bedroom?
What's the name of the woman downstairs?
Did you live here?
I heard a disembodied voice. It was like a whisper, like a low something. I guarantee.
Did you live here?
Did you used to play in the garden in the backyard?
All right, Abby, we're going to ask one more question. Can you come over here and yell into this red light? Do you have a message for everybody?
Was there a cemetery on this property, on this land, somewhere in the backyard?
Thank you, Abby. We're going to listen now to see if you left us a message, okay?
The following 3 intelligent EVPs were captured on our voice recorder during this EVP session.
So it's recording. What is your name?
Did you used to play in the garden in the backyard?
Who's stupid? Is a member of the Spro family here?
Ed? You just said Ed, right?
It said Earl Spro. Earl, are you here? Earl, we're sorry about what happened to your children. We heard about that. It's horrible. I'm my dad and myself.
Scared.
He said what?
Sounded like scared.
We can hear you talking now. Who's in the room with us right now? Hi. Can I sit down? What's this?
You just got a name?
What? How many spirits are in this house? Thank you. Please help us. Who needs help? Turn on the light if there's 5 of you here. There isn't 5. How many? Do you need help going to the light? The only thing I can think of, Marissa, is portal.
Yeah.
It's the only thing. This invention that I made, Brandon, opens up portals and the thing comes through. This is the third box. This is the third box. They're completely new. The door's not the same. The roof's shell that I made. It's all brand new.
As we leave Abby's room, let's take a look at some strange footage from our 3D mapping camera. This is our alternative view of the mapping camera. You can clearly see a man manifested over there by the bed. In this view, you can see a child's head down at the bottom now screaming. You can now see 2 faces over there on the black part. They're gray. One looks like it has no eyes. And then here, it looks like some strange bird-faced entity with a transparent, like predator-type look to him has appeared above the bed with no body.
There you go. Oh my God, man. Bring it over here. We're going to the right. I see it.
Even though we can clearly see it is now my face in the V2's footage of this mirror, a few moments ago, it definitely looked like my face wasn't there and the face of a demon was. You can call it what you want, you can decide what you want, but for a few seconds there, I sure as hell thought I was staring back at a demon in that mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So what we were just talking about is the V2 SLS camera. If you've seen an SLS camera on TV, that's not the one you've seen on TV. We have 2 versions of it. The first one is the stick figure one that you see on TV, where it's just that colored screen. The one we have there, we discovered at the Oliver House that it actually has 2 views to it. It has that infrared view, which can also pick up a stick figure, but it also has that weird 3-dimensional view, which was the second one we showed that was kind of colorized. And what was amazing, well, we actually couldn't believe it when we saw it, was those faces near the bed, especially the 2 gray ones of the heads that were clearly like, remember that thing that was like pins that you used to put your hand through and stick your hand through it?
Yeah.
It's almost like if you stuck it to your face. You ever do that?
Mm-hmm.
That's what those faces looked like. It looked like one had like no eyes too. It was pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see the little boy's face in the corner go from like kind of bald and like weird looking, like a normal face, to screaming and hair flying out. So I don't know how he grew hair, but somehow he did. But anyway, the way that camera works, the first SLS works by sending out a grid of infrared dots to map things. That's how the first one works. That one works with sonar type technology, only much more advanced. And it sends out signals that hit solid objects, and it comes back to the receiver, and the software generates a picture. So if something appears if I put V2 SLS, if it's appearing on there, it has mass to it. Otherwise, it would not appear. Period. It does not have false positives like the regular V1 SLS. If you scan a coat rack or a Christmas tree, sometimes it will look like a figure.
Mm-hmm.
That thing will not. It will not. There's no false positives. And if it sees something that generates a picture, it had mass to it. Okay, just the way it works. You can go on Windows and Microsoft and look up the Xbox One Connect and how it works, connect for Windows, and it will tell you all that good stuff. And it is incredible. It sees into the spirit world almost. It's bizarre. It is bizarre.
It's neat.
It is really neat. But the other one has its advantages too. Sometimes, one will pick up something the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
Or they'll pick up different things at the same time, looking at the same thing. It's crazy. As you'll see, the second time we go to the Oliver House, some real crazy stuff appears on both at the same time. Pretty nutty stuff. It looks like there's no new comments or anything. So, was there anything else that we wanted to mention?
No.
I mean, that stuff was just really strange with those manifestations, those faces. There's actually more. It's so hard to go. Oh, I know what I wanted to mention. At the end there, you see the mirror. The point of that mirror thing, if you go back and watch it, is I was yelling at something that was negative. It was calling itself demonic, and I was telling it to show itself in the mirror, because oftentimes they will use mirrors as portals, or even windows that have nighttime behind them. They're darkened windows, basically like a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I could basically provoke it into showing itself. And I was holding that V2 camera pointing at it, so I thought for sure. And all of a sudden I started yelling because I saw this thing. It was like solid white, and it looked like a little devil with horns. And after a few seconds, it kind of dissolves away, and all of a sudden you start to see my glasses and my face, and there's no more horns. So something must have been standing in front of me. I don't know whether to make a point or it just showed up in the same spot of where my head was located. But it was really freaky. It really freaked me out. And I didn't know what the hell was going on. So I put it in there just so you could see us screaming and yelling at it. But you can clearly see, if you go back and look, there's nobody there with glasses at first. It's a dark-eyed, demonic-looking thing that's really freaky, and it kind of fades away. And then all of a sudden you start to see my face come into shape. And you saw something similar in the pictures that we showed from Anawan Rock, where something was in front of me and then moved itself out of the way. So just really strange stuff. But again, we just, excuse me. Go ahead, do the if you need help thing. I'm having trouble here. Again, we just want to mention real quick, if somebody's out there and you need help, if you're experiencing strange phenomena, paranormal activity, if you straight know you're being haunted, Marissa and I have lived through 2 hauntings ourselves, and we're happy to help. Okay, we spent the last decade researching and investigating these things to help ourselves, to get answers for ourselves, yes, but to be able to help others and to get answers for others. And you are not putting us out, please. We will keep you anonymous. Okay, we don't put your stuff out there. We won't give anyone your location. If you need help, that's why we do the show, to let you know that help's available. You're not crazy. We're here to help. So just go to our website, relativelyparanormal.com. On the last page, there's just like a little info form you can fill out, and we'll call you back. Or you can go to our email, relativelyparanormal@gmail.com, and just email us directly. It's a simple way of doing it. And please don't forget to support us by checking out our YouTube channel, relativelyparanormal.com. Over 60 incredible videos. These clips that you see on this show, we put out full investigation videos. That doesn't mean I put out 60 hours of raw video from an investigation. That means that I turn all these clips and a few others into an hour's worth of investigation, kind of like you see on your Ghost Adventures type stuff. And we put quick evidence clips on there, things that we are astonished by, that we find and just want to get out there right away. And we also put past episodes of Wickedly Haunted, which also appear on New Bedford Guide on an awesome playlist Mike did for us. So if you want to binge watch it, go there, check that out. We have a TikTok channel now, relativelyparanormal.com. We put quick evidence clips in our public Facebook group, Relatively Paranormal. Feel free to join. We put all sorts of crazy stuff up on there and interact with people. But thank you so much for watching.
And one more thing, Auntie Pam, we just hope you're feeling better.
My Auntie Pam, who's a big fan of the show, watches all the time, big supporter of ours. We love her to death. She recently had surgery, so we just want to wish her a get well soon. If you're watching, Auntie, or even if you're watching this on replay, we love you. Get well soon, and thoughts and prayers. We love you to death.
Of course, we'll see everybody next Friday.
See you next Friday. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Have a great week.